What's up, non-fungible people? This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible today and Non-Fungible tomorrow. And today I want to talk about how you can use Substrata. So for those of you who have been following me some time, you do know that I actually own a parcel in the metaverse called Substrata. I own parcel 831 in the metaverse in Substrata, and occasionally I do build a gallery in there in order to feature different type of artists that come on my channel and to support them. And I noticed that I haven't really done a video on how you can go to the gallery, and sometimes these instructions aren't that clear. So I just want to use a video to talk about how you could go into Substrata, how you can use your own customized avatar like this, and also as a builder, how can you build stuff within Substrata. So here's what I'm gonna do. So the first thing is that if you want to use Substrata, there's a few ways that you can use it. The first one is go to the website substrata.info, which I will add in the description, and you could actually log in and log out, right? And what happened is that when you log in here, like you create an account here, you can actually use your own username within the Substrata Metaverse, okay? And if you are new to Substrata, the first thing you'll have to do is that you need to download the client, which is, if you're on Windows, you can download here, Mac, Linux here. So you have to download the Substrata client and install it on your computer. So I have it installed here already. And for those of you who are interested in buying a parcel, they do regular parcel sell. So you can actually go here and buy parcel. So the good thing about Substrata is that you don't have to pay in Ethereum in order to buy a parcel, but you can also pay in fiat, which is supported by PayPal if I believe correctly. But there is a transaction fee, so you have to know that. So these are all done in a Dutch auction. So what it means is that when you click into it, the price is actually going down, when it's listed, right? So if you want to buy this, you don't want other people to snatch it, and it seems like a lot of Substrata parcel are getting a lot of traction right now. So you would want to buy earlier so that other people do not buy it. So you can buy it with PayPal or you can buy it with Coinbase. So there's fiat, there's cryptocurrency if you want to buy a parcel. So if you look at here, this is a link that you could go and visit in this specific parcel in Substrata. But at the same time, you look at the map for Substrata. This is basically the whole map of Substrata, and then right now there's a center place, and my parcel is actually here, the non-fungible TC gallery, which is here, parcel 831. This part, they call it the marketplace or the northwest southeastern style, okay? And then there's this place where there's a lot of different art installation. And then over here, this is a place where they're starting to sell parcel. And the good thing about these parcels is that you can link them together to build something. And right now, Sue Friends has gotten into Substrata, so a lot of activity, really exciting. So anyways, without further ado, let me go back. So what you can do is you can download the client in order to go to Substrata, and another way you could do is to visit the web client, which is substrata.info/web client, and then the link of the gallery. But the problem with the web client is that it's still in its alpha stage, right? So it's unlike crypto Voxel or anything where the client is ready to public, but it is still in alpha stage. So you can still see what is within the parcel, and but it does take some time to load, and some 3D models might not show very nicely. But I'll show you the PC version of this, okay? So the best way to experience Substrata is to use the PC client, okay? Alright, so once you download the PC client, this is what you will see. This is the default window. If you are only a visitor and if you have no plans to build anything or whatsoever, my suggestion for you is to close this, and close this, and only keep the chat open, okay? And also, so this would not make it very cluttered, right? So the good thing about Substrata is that, let me go through all of these one by one, okay? In terms of edit, right, these are all for builders, okay? But if you're just visiting, you don't have to do this. What you can do is, and then movement is that you could fly or you could unfly, or at the same time you could press the key button F in order to fly, and press F in order to not fly. And then if you use WASD, which is a similar movement controls, and then spacebar is the jump button. For those of you who are interested in making an emotion in the Substrata, what you can do is press gesture, and then you can click these, and then your avatar will actually follow the emotions, right? So this is kind of like how it works. And for those of you who see right now, there's actually a selfie view. When you click selfie view, you can see your avatar. As you see, by default, these are your avatar. But right now I use my own avatar. So for those of you who want to add some customization to your avatar, how does it work, okay? Well, the first thing is that I talked about movement, right? Movement is basically, how you could set the fly or not fly. So once you fly, you can move very quickly. But if you don't fly, you'll move a lot slower, right? So in terms of the avatar, what you can do is that you could go to avatar setting. this window will come out, right? And if you want to create your own avatar, what you can do is that you have to go to Ready Player Me. Okay, so if you click Ready Player Me, so this is basically so the important thing is that don't go to readyplayerme.me, but you have to go to the one that is optimized for Substrata, because if you use the official readyplayerme.me, there is some problem with the 3D model, so you have to use the one by Substrata. And then you can customize your avatar. You could give it something to wear, and then what happened is that once you're done customizing, you could press next, and then you could continue without sign up, and then they will prepare your avatar. And the good thing is that they will give you a link, and then you can download the avatar link. Okay, so basically they'll give you a GLB file, and then you can download it. And then once you download it, right, you can save the file, and then it goes to the download folder. And what you can do in Substrata is that you could go here and press browse, and then you could go to download, basically here, and then click the file, and then ta-da, you are now using the avatar that you created in Ready Player Me. Okay, so this is the avatar. So let me use back my own avatar. All right, so now I'm using my own avatar. And if you are a person who, I close all the windows, right? What happened is that if you want to open all of these windows, you can go back to Windows, reset layout. Okay, if you are just an explorer, you can close all of these other irrelevant windows. And for those of you who do not know, you can actually log in here. But by default, if you don't log in, you'll be an anonymous like this guy, right? But if you log in, you can have your own username. So my username is now being shown to other people. This is how you create the avatar, how you use your own avatar, and then this is how you can move. So for those of you who are interested in going to my gallery, right? There's a few ways that you can do it. The first one is that you could actually go to my gallery by pasting this link in the navigation bar, or if you want to go to visit some other people's gallery and they gave you this Substrata hyperlink, what you can do is you could go here, paste it, and then press enter, and that will bring you to the location that the guy who sent you this link wants you to go to. So this is basically my gallery, right? But another way to do this is that you can actually go to go to Parcel, and then my parcel is 831, and then when I press that, I'm actually in 831 as well. But it seems like I'm glitching right now because I kind of have some windows and stuff like that in between. So there's no worries, I could go paste back to here and then paste here. So for any reason, if you glitch or anything, edit this bar. So basically X is the X-axis, Y is the Y-axis, the Z is the height. Okay, this is actually my gallery, right? This is how you can go to my gallery. So not only you could go by going to Parcel 831, enter, or you could paste this Substrata info into the hyperlink bar here in order to go there, or you could walk to the Parcel, which is shown in my video. And or you could go to the web client without having to download a software, and you can visit the alpha version of the web client and to see the gallery, right? This is basically the navigation for someone who is just interested in exploring Substrata and things like that. And so you have the mouse wheel button, right? What you can do is that when you press the V button, this is the first view, like first person view. If you press the V again, it basically gives you a third person view, okay? And the good thing about Substrata is that, unlike other metaverses, I think the quality of the 3D rendering is quite nice. You look at this banana from my neighbor, it's a really nice 3D rendering, which is something that you do not see in other metaverses. But the trade-off is that you do have to download the client. And once we go into here, so this is my gallery, and in Substrata, there's a lot of things that you can do. You could actually paste images, and then you could actually add hyperlinks. So let me go back to the builder's view, press reset layout, and you'll have all of these information. So help information is all here, okay? So view is also a way that you could click instead of the V button in order to go to first person and third person view. Go is basically going to different places. So if you are someone who's new, who do not own a parcel but would still like to build something, you can actually go to your personal world. And once you go to your personal world, you do have an unlimited space where you can build and experiment with Substrata, right? So tools, basically in Substrata, what you can do is that you could take a screenshot. So I could take a screenshot and I could go to a screenshot folder in order to download my screenshot. And I can show log. So log is basically everything that you do within Substrata. So it's mainly for troubleshooting, which I don't think regular users will need. And basically, there's an option, right? So for some people who do not have a very powerful computer, what you might want to do is that you might want to change your object load distance to maybe 100. If you have 200, it means that everything within 200 meters would load in your Substrata client. And if you do not have a very strong graphic card, it might take a very long time, or it might make you hard to use the software, right? So I will set this to a very low setting if your computer is, very slow, or the frame per second is very low. So without further ado, let's talk about what you can do with Substrata, right? So when you look at Substrata, this is the editor window, this is the material browser, and this is the diagnostics, which is quite helpful to see how many objects are within this area and things like that, right? So I've noticed that there are a lot of new players in Substrata, and I wanted to create this video so that you could know the basics of using the builder in Substrata. So right now I'm actually at my personal world. If you want to experiment with things, you could do this. So the first thing is you can add model, image, and video, right? So what happened is that you can actually add models. So these are some default models. So if I want to add a pill, right, I can do that, and I can use these buttons to move it in a three-dimensional way. And the thing is that this is a very helpful tool because the editor allows you to, add a texture, right? So if I want to add a texture, what I can do is that I could go to the material browser, I can click on it. So it will add the material into the texture. Or if you are someone who have like a 3D image and you want to add it to it, you can basically go to browse, and then you can add a texture to this image, right? So this is how you can do it, and then you can change the roughness. So as you can see, the light is actually being reflected here. So the less rough it is, you can see the light, okay? The more roughness is harder to see the light, it's more dispersed. And then there's a reflection, the metallic reflection, and then the opacity, which is basically a transparent thing. So if you are interested in building windows, right, you can use the opacity to do it. All right, so adding 3D model from this and then from web, right? So from this, you can add 3D model in this file format. A website that I usually go is called Sketchfab. Sketchfab is a place where you can download creative common files, and then these will be in GLB or maybe GLTF files, so you can download 3D models. And you can also upload image files, you can also upload MP4, and also you can upload from web. So usually what I do is that if I have an NFT, I could copy the image of the NFT and paste it here in order to add it here. So let's talk about adding from a disk, okay? So what you can do is you could go to browse, and then this is basically all my files, right? So if I want to add an image, I want to add a banner in Substrata, I could add an image, right? So I put image. So this is a banner, right? But the problem is you'll ask me, hey, how do I resize this? I know how to move this. So one thing is that once you add a banner, it will show you the scale here, okay? By default, sometimes this would tick. If you want to move a picture or a banner, which is not a 3D object, I would suggest you to untick this. And then basically, if you want to scale it, you can use a calculator. And then basically, let's say I want to scale it with 3 meters, right? I press 3. And then if I want the type to also be the same scale, right? I would use this number and I put in a calculator and I times it by 3, okay? So this is a helpful tip that could help you. So if this times 3 is basically around 0.999, right? So this goes back to the correct aspect ratio of the banner. So if you want to add an image, usually it would be a smaller image by a scale of 1, which with either the horizontal or the vertical axis, right? So you could basically resize the 1 to a scale that you like, and then times that other thing with this scale, okay? So this is how I do. But what happens if you link XYZ? So XYZ is basically for 3D models, right? If I click on this, and then when I click it, basically because I also affect the depth of it, right? So I will create these very weird objects. I would suggest you not to do it. If anything goes wrong, Ctrl Z is basically the undo button, okay? And so this is how you can do like create an object and things like that. And the good thing about Substrata is that you can actually create a hyperlink, okay? So what you can do is that if you have an NFT or if you have a website and if you want people to go there, you could type your hyperlink. And right now, when the person mouse over your item, they can actually press E in order to go to your website or that you put in this hyperlink, which is a pretty cool function. And if you want to do something like talk about a description on what this is about, you can type it here. Like this is my website, right? So people can read it when they double click here. Script is basically how you can add animation. For example, if you want a sliding door, if you want banner to move up and down, but it is more complicated, which is hard to cover. But I would suggest you is to go to the main world. And then if you go to the main world, you can actually look at different type of 3D objects that are moving, right? So what you can do is that, let's say for example, I'm in the main world right now, right? And then I can basically go here and then look at some 3D objects that are moving. Oh, say for example, I see these moving 3D objects, right? And I want to look at the code. You can actually double click it and then copy the script and then go back to your item and then, you know, double click on it. So I'm going back to my personal world, which is here. I can double click on it, paste the script, and then it will move accordingly, right? So it does take some time to explore this script, which I will not cover here. But this is how you can animate object in Substrata. So in Substrata, you can also add video, image, and you can also add Hypercard. Hypercard is basically a card where you can type stuff like hello or like a memo within the world, right? And it also has the same property like the image that I put in. And you can add Voxel. So Voxel is basically building blocks, right? Building blocks that you can actually use. So when you click Control and you click next to a Voxel, you can actually build side by side with the Voxel, right? And same with the material, you can actually click it. You can pick a material browser, you can upload your own material here in order to maybe build a floor or build like a statue or something like that. But if you want to delete the voxel next to each other, what you can do is you can press alternate and click, and then you can delete it, okay? So this is how you can do it. So once you have one piece of voxel, you cannot use the alternate, you could use the delete key in order to delete it. So once you double click an item, you press delete, you delete the object, okay? So voxel is like this. So show parcel. Show parcel basically, because I'm in my private world, there's no parcel to show. But what I'll tell you is that you could go back to the main world. If you press show parcel, right? If it's blue, it means that it's owned by someone else. If you double click it, you can actually see that the owner of the parcel and also the description, right? But if you double click on the other one, the reason why this parcel is green is that everyone can create things here, okay? So what happens is that if you are a parcel owner and then after you log in, okay, and you verify your ownership, you can actually click this or Writeable in order to allow everyone to write. But if you unclick it, because I do not own this parcel, I cannot do this, right? But if you unclick it, it means that only the creators or the writers in this parcel could edit it, okay? In order to add writers, what you can do is that you could go to show parcel on Substrata info. So, and then for those of you who have, so what happened in Substrata is that you can also add audio source, okay? So let me go back to my parcel. So this is a parcel that I own, okay? And when I go out and I double click it, it shows that this is actually owned by me, right? And I uncheck the all writable so that only I can edit it, okay? Or the writers, so only me can edit it. But mute outside audio. So basically people can actually add audio into the parcel. The way that they can do it is that first of all, they can add an object. Let's say for example, I could add like a voxel, right? And then what I can do is that, sorry, this is not a voxel, this is a 3D model. So a 3D model is different because you cannot add like alternate or control next to it in order to add stuff, but voxel you can. So what I can do is that I could actually add audio file here. So I can browse and then add audio file, and then there will be an audio source. So I do have noisy neighbors. So what you can do is you can double click the green area. You can click this mute outside audio. So once you get in, you cannot hear the outside audio. So which is a good thing that you might want if you're a builder. The good thing about show parcel is that if it's green, it's owned by you and you can build within it. If it's blue, it's owned by someone else and you cannot build within it. So if I want to add someone to help contribute to my parcel, what I can do is I can click here. So basically, click show parcel, double click the green area of your parcel, show parcel on Substrata info. And what happened is that it will show, because I'm logged in, right? It will show that, okay, this is my parcel. I could actually add writers. Writer is like, if you know someone else's username, you can add them so that they can build on your parcel as well. And I added my description. And also you can see the NFT status. So right now my parcel is minted as an NFT and it's for sale on OpenSea. So you want to buy it, you can buy it and then you can edit the parcel. And the thing is, if you're a parcel owner, a good thing is that you could generate the screenshot. So once you regenerate the screshot, it will show the latest status of your parcel. And so what can you do as someone who logged in, right? If you own a parcel, it will show your parcel. So you can link in an Ethereum address and then you can sign a message. And then you could claim the parcel based on ownership. So you bought a parcel on OpenSea. What you can do is that you could create an account here, link your address here, and assign a message, claim the parcel, and then type the parcel number, claim parcel, and then it will send a Ethereum query. And then once it proves that you own this parcel, you will now have the ownership of that parcel, okay? So once you buy it, you do not exactly have immediately taking access, but you'll have to claim the parcel ownership. So yeah, I've been overrunning my video, but I just want to tell you guys about a lot of tips and a lot of things that you can do within Substrata. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This is your host, Non-Fungible TC. And if you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe and like, and also share this with other people new to Substrata. And also maybe, support me by sending me some stuff on my address. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this content.